Welcome to episode number 2 of the Underdogs podcast. My name is Elvis. I'm here with my co-host.
What's up? This is Zeus. Welcome to another episode to the podcast. This is episode number 2. Before we start, I just want to thank everybody that's been supporting us.
Yes, sir.
On Instagram, Twitter, Spotify, Google Podcast, on YouTube. To the subscribers that we have. Like I said in our first episode. Exactly. Like I said, this is just the beginning. We're gonna put out more content, and I hope you guys enjoy this. But we're gonna get right to it with the MLB. The MLB has been a little spicy lately. Especially with two games. So the first game, the Cubs and the Reds, the bench is cleared. And it was between Javi Baez and Amir Garrett. So this is how it went down. It's the 8th inning, 2 outs. It's a 3-2 game. The Reds are up, and Rizzo's at bat. Amir Garrett punches him out, strikes him out, and he starts to celebrate like any other pitcher would. You know, when it's a tight, close game. You know, the emotions. You know,
it takes over.
Up. Exactly.
Of course, absolutely.
So he celebrated, and Javi didn't like what his celebration. Like, he didn't like that. He didn't appreciate it. So he went on the field to confront Garrett, and the bench is cleared. So this goes way back to 2018. 2018, same situation.
Yeah.
In Cincy. Garrett punches out Javi Baez. And when Garrett was walking towards the bench, he was staring at Javi, and they was staring at one another and bickering. The bench is cleared. And Javi looked like he was about to hit him with the bat. I don't know. like they was going to get into it. But it was just crazy. So after the game, post-game, Javi had to say this: not going to let anyone disrespect my teammates or my team. I've hit 3 home runs against him, and I didn't do anything to show him up or his team. So he didn't. Basically, he's backing up his teammates and his team, and he's not gonna let any other player or team punk him or his teammates. And I understand where he's coming from, because me personally, I am the same way when it came to sports. Like, I'm not going to let the opposing team punk us and make us look bad.
Yeah.
And at the same time, him saying, he hit the 3 home runs and he never showed him up or his team. Like, it comes with that conversation of, the double standard. You always have the hitters always celebrate. They always get the walk-off celebration and the bat flip. I feel like pitchers should have that same celebration as well. If they strike out an opposing player in a big spot of a game, they should be able to celebrate. There shouldn't be this double standard. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's always been the hitter. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask you, what's your take on it?
Oh, yeah. So, hello? You hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, audio kind of cut off. But, yeah, for so long, it's always been the hitter celebrating. Like, we never really seen the pitchers show too much emotion because, they're always the ones to, get got. But after a strikeout now, we see these young guys showing so much emotion, fist bumps, throwing their fists in the air, celebrating, yelling at guys. That's why we have these brawls that we have now today. We had the Mets-Phillies. I don't know if you want to dive into that.
That was the other game with the Mets and Phillies.
Yeah, exactly. So, you have 2 guys just being we just have 2 guys being competitive. You strike a guy out, and you Dom Smith, he was just minding his own business, walking to the bench, and you got a pitcher drawing at you, yelling, get back in the box. That's going to frustrate some guys, get your teammates out there. But you kind of love to see that in the sport, bro. We need to see more
I mean,
rivalries, especially
of
Mets Phillies.
of course, like, and what you're saying is
Hmm.
like we need to see more of that because baseball is a sport where the casual fans, they find the game kind of boring,
Yeah.
and not like the hardcore fans, the people that love baseball, they find it a little bit boring. And
Hmm.
for those occasions to happen with the benches clearing is always something fun to watch
Yeah.
because you get to see like just players going, like the whole team getting on the field, both
Yeah.
teams going at it.
You love to
But
see
the
that.
situ the situation with the Phillies and Mets, that's also something that goes way back as well.
Hmm.
That so like 2 weeks ago, Alvarado had hit Michael Conforto.
Conforto, yeah.
Um, yeah, he hit him with a pitch, and the bench is cleared. And Dominic Smith, was one of the
Hmm.
players that was on Alvarado. He was getting
Hmm.
at him. So there goes that's your reason why like
Hmm.
the two don't like one another,
Yeah.
and the reason why the bench is cleared again,
Yeah, so in
but
this
this time
game,
as in Philly.
this time, yeah, he just hit Jeff McNeil, and then he intentionally walked the next hitter to face Dominic Smith, and then he struck
Mm,
him out to end the eighth inning. And after the
yeah,
strikeout, that's when he was celebrating and jawing at him. So
yeah.
all the guys came out of
Dom,
the benches, and
Dominic Smith said that like he was Alvarado was like pumped up, he was fist
mhm.
pumping, and then he looked at him and he said something along the lines of motherfucker, something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah. So
so
like Dominic Smith didn't take that too well, and he was like, "Yo, I'm 60 feet away. Like, what's up? Like,
yeah, he's one of
let's
those
go."
guys who doesn't play that shit. He said, like, I don't mind guys celebrating, just like kind of paraphrase what he said. He said, just do your own thing on the mound, but leave
Yeah,
me alone. Like, I'm a grown ass man. That's what he said. So he said, if you want to settle it, like, we can settle it. We don't have to
I
do all
respect
that
that.
jawing. Yeah,
Yeah,
so I can respect that. But
I
you
respect
love
that.
to see that, bro. Like all these other sports, like the NFL just has that contact. You really never see contact in MLB,
Mm-hmm.
especially since they did away with collisions. But like the NHL, bro, when they just kind of let them square off, you kind of love to
Bro,
see that shit.
and it's even better when it's teams that are division rivals.
Exactly.
It
Like
just
Mets,
makes it more
Phillies.
interesting.
Yeah, you love to see when both teams are good. 'Cause
Let's get into the Yanks, the
my
Yankees.
Yankees.
What's going
Let's
What's
go and
going
talk
on?
about my Yankees. What do you have to say about us? We're 7-3 in the last 10 games.
You guys are
Eight
looking
and
good.
8-3 in the last 11. You want to count that last one?
Okay.
Just beat the Tigers today, 2-0. This is Sunday that we're
I mean,
recording.
you guys, like you said in episode one, it's a
Mm-hmm.
long season, which I agree with. It's 162 games, and every team is gonna hit a slump, and then they're gonna hit their stride. They're gonna get
Yeah,
guys
bro.
back, whoever's on the DL, and they're just gonna get the ball rolling. And it seems like the Yankees are getting things together. Their pitching has always been there since the start of the season.
Always been
You
there.
can't ask, yeah, you can't ask nothing more from the pitching.
Mm-hmm.
It's just when it comes to the offense, they gotta get their things. They gotta get their stuff situated, which I feel like they are. Especially with this run of being 7-3 in the last
Mm-hmm.
10 games. It's impressive, actually.
Yeah, man, and like we've had the Yankees have had injuries. We've seen over the last couple of years they've had to deal with injuries, but they've always fought through and won the division, won 100 games, regardless of who went down. They've always had that next man up mentality. But this
Yeah,
season, they've lost Luke Voigt, so that it hurts their offense, but it's still an offense that should still be potent, should still be one of the best offense in the league, and we haven't seen that. So for them to just be 500 today, the first day of May, this is not the Yankee team that we expected to see, at least so far. But finally, it looks like they're starting to win some ball games. They're headed in the right direction. But I kind of wanted to talk about Aaron Judge, and I know a lot of people aren't a fan of him right now because he's sitting out a bunch of games. I'm not too happy about that either. But he's been saying the right things in press conferences.
Mm-hmm.
Like the other day, he gave a shout out to Jayson Tatum, who won his first game in like 2 years from the exact date. So just saying things like that, I feel like that's the type of leadership that this team has been missing.
Yeah.
And that type of stuff sticks. So you start saying the right things. He's been playing pretty well. That kind of like just trickles on over down the lineup. Hopefully, we start to see DJ LeMahieu kind of be the DJ that we've seen over the last few years, and other guys kind of start to follow along. But I'm really glad to see what I've seen from Judge so far to start the season. So I think this Yankees team is finally starting to be the team that we have hoped them to be. With this pitching has just been phenomenal. We couldn't ask for more from our pitching. I don't know if you watched today, but we saw Corey Kluber kind of dominate the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah.
Don't shit on him. Don't shit on him for
No,
just being the
no.
Tigers, but he got the job done.
No. I mean, he had a great game. He threw for 10 strikeouts.
He had a great
He
game,
only
man.
he only allowed 1 run, was it, or no runs?
No runs.
No runs. All
No
right.
runs. Two
But
nothing game.
congrats to Corey Kluber, and I hope they keep it up because
Yeah, man.
they're one of the favorites to win it all. So
Yeah,
it
but
would
I
it
yeah.
would it would look bad on their part, being a favorite and
Mhm.
you're not up to par with that.
They're finally winning the games that they're supposed to be winning. They've early in the season dropped so many ball games here. Like, what are the Yankees doing? The Yankees have no business losing that game.
Yeah,
But I think this next series against the Astros is going to be very telling.
it
I
is.
think the Yankees are looking to get at least 2 games. They want to win this series.
It's
Um,
two teams that are red hot right now. The
yeah,
Astros in their last 10 games are 8-2.
yeah. Let's dive
And
into the Astros too.
yeah, and last night Urquidy he threw off for 7 strikeouts, and he was just looking great.
Mm,
And that's one thing with the Astros this year is that they're pitching. They got young pitchers. They
mm,
still got Greinke, Verlander still out, so their pitching is a little suspect. But they're winning games. They're winning ball games, and against good teams.
mm,
They last night they just beat Tampa, and now they're gonna head into this series against the Yankees. Two teams that are rivals. They don't
mm.
like one another. And they're red hot right now. So it's gonna be a great series to watch. I think Greinke is on the mound against Herman.
Yeah.
Domingo Herman.
So
He's on the
I don't know
mound.
what the line is on that game, but take that over.
Oh yeah,
Take that over for sure.
sure. So it's gonna be a great series to watch. Look forward to see where the Yankees go from here. If they keep this trend.
Mm.
And of course also the Houston Astros.
Yeah, so the Astros, they start off the season just kind of hitting on all cylinders. You made a great point to their pitching. They have young guys, so their guys have consistently been giving them 6, 7 innings. They can throw 90 pitches, 100 pitches without their manager rushing to take
Yeah,
them out. Um, so that helps the offense, even when the offense is struggling, because we've seen this team drop some games. They've kind of been inconsistent, lost some games to like Colorado, Detroit, Seattle, some teams that they just shouldn't be losing to.
yeah.
They kind of went on a little losing streak, but their offense has kind of woken up a little bit. But even in those close games where the offense hasn't been able to score runs, like you said, their young arms have been able to keep them in the game and win a
And
couple of those close ball games.
and it's a veteran team. Like
Yeah.
they got veteran guys there that they know how to win, even though they have the whole cheating scandal on them. They're veterans. They know when to win big games,
Yeah.
and and that makes a great mix when you have young guys and the pit great young talent mixed with veteran presence. like it works. It goes hand to hand.
Yeah, man. So I know both these teams are looking for a desperate win against one another. So it's going to make for a great series, which is another great rivalry. We'll see if the bench is clear in this series.
No, shit. I can
Um,
only imagine.
yeah, man. As a Yankee fan, I'm excited for that. And
All
last
right.
weekend was also the NFL draft. So on my birthday, actually. So if you want to go ahead and get that started.
So yeah, so the draft was last week. It was very interesting. Um, we're back to normal, I guess, with the fans attending the draft, the whole stage set up. What how you felt about it? What you
I
got out of
mean,
that?
it was definitely crazy because I didn't expect the NFL to kind of host something like that. I didn't think that they would let all those people be that close together. I mean, like, yeah, I get it. Everyone's getting vaccinated, but I don't know. It caught me off guard for sure.
Yeah. Well, I I things are going back to normal, I guess, in
Yeah.
terms of um like everything opening up in states. I feel like the fans being there made the
Hmm.
draft a little more special, made it a little more normal. I
Hmm.
did like the stage setup. It was kind of cool. Like,
Yeah, the stage setup was cool.
when they called up the players, they
Hmm.
grabbed the hat. They had like a long walk, like a long walkway
Yeah.
into the main stage
Hmm.
and hugged Roger Goodell and stuff. I don't know if you noticed, Roger Goodell had his like furniture, like his couch.
Oh no, I
Like,
didn't.
yeah, so like so like you see last year's draft, it was virtual and like
Yeah,
it
he
was
did it
from
at
his
home.
house.
Hmm.
Yeah, so like he was most of the names he was calling, he was sitting down. So I guess to have like a little funny haha moment, they
Yeah.
had his couch at the front stage and like he was sitting down and
Hmm.
calling the team's picks out. It was kind of
Oh
cool.
shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't
it
notice
was kind
that.
of funny. Yeah, yeah. But getting into the draft, we already know who got picked first. It was Trevor Lawrence.
Bro, he had the
So
playbook months ago.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
So I want to know, what were your favorite picks in the draft in the first round, and what were your least favorite picks?
my number one favorite pick, and not even like, of course, the Steelers fan in me is gonna say it, but Najee Harris to the
Mm-hmm.
Steelers, I just think is a team that was their biggest hole. Like that is a team who was like a piece away from contending, and it was that running back. Of course, they have a host to fill in that O line,
Yeah,
and they kind of tried to address it. They went two O line in round 3 and round 4, but
yeah,
they went running back and tight end trying to shore up that offense. So I think if they tighten up this offensive line, like really that's all the Steelers have been missing. Yeah, they lost a couple pieces on defense this offseason, but the rest of the lineup is more than well enough to put that lineup back in the back in the postseason, excuse me, and maybe make a run, especially if they're actually able to get an O line and stretch that offense out so that Big Ben doesn't have to throw 50 passes a game.
you mentioned Najee Harris. One of my favorite picks was, of course, Trevor Lawrence going to the Jags. Everyone knew he was going to the Jags. He was going to land
Mm-hmm.
at the number one pick. But I like it a lot because the Jags, um, they just got everything set up for him.
Mm-hmm.
They got the weapons. Their defense is pretty good. Well, not pretty good, but they're getting things together with Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's just a great pick for them. Like, they got their franchise quarterback. They don't need to look for any other quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Now all they have to worry about is everything else. Their secondary, bettering the O line for to protect Trevor Lawrence, and just hope for the best. See if they could go all the way in the near future and win a Super
Mm-hmm.
Bowl.
Yeah, man. Another pick that I liked was actually Kyle Pitts to Atlanta,
Yeah,
which I
I
know is
like that
kind of
one
like a
too.
boring pick, like whatever is the Atlanta Falcons, but like the Falcons now they have Julio, Ridley, Kyle Pitts. Like they have a bunch of weapons, and I don't know what the plan is with Matt Ryan going forward, but that offense is going to be fun to watch going forward. So I'm excited to see how he fits in that offense, and to be able to learn from a guy like Julio, and
Yeah.
Calvin, who now has a little bit of NFL experience. He's going to be a great player to watch.
And I that was one of my favorite picks too.
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts going to the Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, that stigmatism with the Falcons has always been that they've had that great offense for years, but they just can't seem to win it all. They've been close.
Even when they're right there.
It just doesn't come together. So it's something that they did need. They needed a tight end that's versatile like Kyle Pitts. Yeah. So that was one of the picks that I really like. Another pick that I like, that I love, was the Chicago Bears picking Justin Fields.
Fields?
Yeah, man. Yeah. And I love that pick because one, they moved up in the draft, and two, they got what I believe is the second best quarterback in the draft, which in Justin Fields.
Damn.
And yeah, and I know months ago they signed Andy Dalton, and they tweeted out like, that's our QB1.
The QB1.
So now like that's a foregone conclusion. Like that's gonna go to Justin Fields.
What do you think about them giving? Sorry, I just want to hear what you think about them giving up a first for them to move up and grab him though. Not only the first this year, but a first next year.
I mean, I would have done it. Because so like if they gave up the first and didn't select a quarterback and they took another position, then I would have been like, okay, like what are you guys doing? Like what's the plan? But you gave up a first, a next year first, to get Justin Fields, to get a quarterback that hopefully comes out to be the player that we think he's gonna be, and that could be the franchise quarterback that the Bears have been looking for for years. Like they thought Mitchell Trubisky was going to be that quarterback, but it hasn't turned out to be that. And then people were giving them a lot of shit when they signed Andy Dalton, and they tweeted out, that's our QB1. And now they got Justin Fields. And now with him being on that team, he fits the system. He fits what Matt Nagy is looking for in a quarterback. He's mobile. He could throw the ball. He's accurate. Like he's everything you could ask for in a quarterback.
But yeah, Justin Fields falling to 11 to Chicago. A couple months ago, everyone thought he was gonna be in the top 10, and I don't know what happened, but his stock just immediately started falling out of nowhere. But yeah, man, I don't know. Chicago will be a good fit. Excited for him.
And I hope it works out for them. And I'm rooting for Justin Fields. Like I said in our first episode, he was one of my favorite quarterbacks in the draft. And I felt like that was the right pick for the Bears. Another pick that I liked a lot was Devontae Smith going to the Eagles at number 10. The Eagles made the right choice in taking Devontae Smith. I feel like he is the best wide receiver in the draft. Well, that could be argued with Jalen Waddle,
and Jamar.
And Jamar Chase. But I feel like for the Eagles, they need that weapon to alleviate Jalen Hurts in that offense, and I feel like he's gonna fit right in. As everyone knows, Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts, they have some sort of relationship. They both went to Alabama. They didn't play together for their 4 years in college, but they do know of one another. They did play for some time. So I feel like it's going to tie into the offense very well, and they're going to flow fine.
Doesn't it give you kind of like Deshaun Jackson vibes, Devontae Smith going to Philly?
Yeah. He's that type of player, like Deshaun Jackson. Like he's the big threat.
Yeah,
like
exactly. I feel like he's just
big
gonna go in
play.
there, fuck shit up. Yeah, big play, and just tear it up from day one.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. Like I like the pick for the Eagles. I
Yeah,
really
that's
did.
one of my favorite
And I
picks
feel
too. Seeing them just jump in front of the Giants, it's like
yeah.
wow,
To
screwing
be
over the
honest,
division rival.
I feel
Mm,
like if Smith would have gone early,
mm,
like to Miami, I think they would have tried to go after Patrick Surtain, like after one of the cornerbacks. But since the cornerbacks that they
mm,
wanted, between J.C. Horn and Surtain, they were gone
yeah.
already. They were like, might as well just take Devontae Smith. Like
Mm,
he's one of the best wide receivers in the draft, so why
mm.
not?
I think it helped the fact that if they didn't take him, the Giants were gonna take him. They were next on the
Yeah,
clock there,
definitely the
so
Giants would have taken him.
yeah,
Definitely.
it definitely
Um,
helps to take him from a division rival.
yeah, yeah. So since we pointed out the draft picks that we like,
Mm,
we gotta go into the draft picks we didn't like, and I'll start off right off the bat with the
mm,
Niners taking Trey Lance at number 3.
mm.
Um, I might take some heat over this, but I don't like the pick because the Niners they moved all the way up to the 3rd pick and they took Trey Lance.
Mm,
Now they moved up, and I'm fine with them moving up to get a quarterback because Garoppolo can't stay on the field, and he's kind of been suspect when it comes to you know him throwing the ball and
mm.
being accurate. But I just don't like them taking Trey Lance. I feel like they should have taken Justin Fields. The reason why I say this is because we've seen what Justin Fields could do. There's more tape on Justin Fields. Justin Fields has been playing in big time games, and we could see what he could do when the pressure is on. Trey
Mhm.
Lance, he goes to ND State, North Dakota State, and it is a smaller school compared to Ohio State. They don't get the big games like Ohio State,
Mm.
but we don't we don't really there's not much to see or to say about him. So I
Yeah,
feel
with
I feel like them taking Trey Lance, it's more of a long-term project
mm.
over like okay, we drafted you, you're gonna start, and we're gonna trade Garoppolo to another team. I feel like they're giving Jimmy G another opportunity to see how it goes, and they're just gonna like walk Trey Lance into the starting role. If it don't work out with Jimmy G, that's what I
Yeah,
think.
I mean that's
But
fair. Yeah, because with only 1 year under his belt, I'm sure the Niners really don't know what they're getting themselves into. They praised his football IQ, saying that they thought he was the smartest QB. So, um, obviously they know something that we don't, and they have faith in his talent because he is talented. Obviously, we're going number 3. In that one
yeah,
year that we did see him play, they had an outstanding season. Um, but yeah, we don't know what they're gonna do with Jimmy G yet. They still haven't moved him, haven't made a decision on him. So
yeah,
we don't know if it's gonna be like they're gonna have a battle for QB1. We just have to see what they're gonna do with Jimmy G moving forward. But yeah, Trey Lance at number 3. I'm on the same. We're on the same page there.
yeah. I was like, all right,
Yeah,
they got
yeah,
Trey.
it's pretty iffy.
Yeah. Um, is there another pick that you didn't like?
Cincinnati now protecting Joe Burrow. It's like, what are you doing? You saw what happened to him last season.
Yeah, they went
I
with the
get,
hype pick.
yeah, I get that they want to get him. The guy, wide receiver one. This is your guy you're gonna go to. But at the same time, you have to protect your investment. We've seen it happen, like what the Jets just did with Sam Darnold. You draft a QB, you don't put an O line in front of him, and you expect him to produce.
Bro,
Um,
Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck.
Andrew
Remember
Luck,
Andrew Luck? He was the quarterback of the future, and
hmm
because of the Colts not giving him the protection that he needed, his career was cut short.
And now the Colts have one of the best O-line in the NFL. So
Exactly.
it's funny how that
A
works
little
out.
too late.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But yeah,
I
the
continue.
Jamar Chase play. Yeah, he's a great player. Like you can't be mad at them for taking a skill position player. But
Hmm.
I don't know when there's an O lineman that you can take. Not a good choice.
Yeah. I 100% agree with you. At number five, they should have taken Panay Sewell.
Hmm.
I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name, but like they should have taken him or Elijah Vera Tucker. Like that's a great example.
Hmm.
Like the way the Jets went about the draft, I feel like they're one of the big winners besides the Jaguars. Like the Jets at number two, they took Zach Wilson, and Zach Wilson, like Trey Lance, he
Hmm.
played in a smaller school, but it looks like from him in the combine, like he was wowing a lot of the teams, and he looks to be one of the better rookie quarterbacks going into the new season. But the way they went about it, they took their quarterback, their franchise quarterback, and then later they took an offensive lineman and
Hmm.
Vera Tucker, who could play the guard position and he could
Hmm.
play the tackle position. And they already got Becton. So
Yeah.
they're setting up everything
Yeah,
lovely.
they've been trying to build that O line and have gotten a couple players,
Yeah,
um,
so
but
like the way that
they made a couple great decisions this draft.
yeah, the way they went about it was very good. I just
Joe
feel like
Douglas.
yeah, the Bengals just went about it like okay, like we're gonna hear the fans, what the
Yeah.
fans want, and what Joe Burrow wants. Like he
Yeah.
wants his boy on the team, you know. Like
Hmm.
and it's cool. And Jamar Chase is a great talent. Like we're not disputing that at all.
Hmm.
It's just I feel like they should have gone with protecting their
Hmm.
franchise quarterback instead of you know
Not only
going.
just because it's your franchise quarterback, but this is a guy that is coming off a torn ACL. Like he's coming off a bad injury. And if you have the chance to kind of patch your O line up and give him some help, give him some protection, to give him more time in that pocket, why
Yeah,
not? But
and the guy just tore his ACL.
that's what I'm saying. Like coming
Like
off an injury,
we don't know.
you
We
think you
don't.
want to help him.
Yeah, we don't know if he's gonna come back the same. He's gonna be
Yeah.
scared, and
Mm-hmm.
then like you guys don't improve the O line. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and he plays in a division where the defenses, the pass rush is crazy. You know, you're talking about the Browns, you're talking about the Steelers and the Ravens.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about T.J. Watt, Miles Garrett, and then you got who you got on
They still have
Baltimore.
they signed Clowney too.
Exactly, they signed Clowney. So
Cleveland.
oh, well, Cleveland signed Clowney. So like they're I don't know. Like it wasn't one of my favorite picks. I feel like they should have just gone with the online alignment. But hey, let's see how it goes for them.
Yeah.
Um one last pick that I did not like,
Mm-hmm.
which kind of got me confused, was with the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
At number 12, they picked Micah Parsons. He's one of the better linebackers in the draft. But I feel like with Lander Van Der Esch and Jalen Smith, it didn't make a lot of sense to take another linebacker in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the only thing I could think of as to why they took the linebacker is because they don't believe in Lander Van Der Esch. I feel like
Oh, I don't. Hmm.
I feel like,
Yeah.
and the reason why I'm saying this is not because of his talent, is because he
Mm-hmm.
can't stay on the field.
Okay.
Like he's have some neck injuries.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great talent, but it's just there's been injuries that has sidelined him that they're a little skeptical about him playing and staying healthy um, as his career goes.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great point. But at the same time, I think if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you kind of look at it as, okay, they wanted a cornerback. They were both gone. So it's kind of a like best player available situation. They thought Michael Parsons was the best player available. So
That's true.
Why not beef up the defense more than it already is? Like, yeah, they already have two great athletic linebackers, but it it always helps. You need run support. You always need great linebackers who can move around.
That's a great
So
point.
it was just best player available. They wanted to go defense clearly the whole time,
Yeah.
and yeah, man. I mean, we'll see if it
So
works out for them.
over overall, like what will you give the NFL 2021 draft rate from 1 to 10? Now with the fans back and the whole stage setup.
As far as following CDC guidelines, it gets a 0.
Yeah.
But yeah, the presentation and stuff was pretty cool. I'm glad to finally see things get back to normal. So there were a couple of things I didn't like. Like I thought it was kind of weird how they had like those little fan sections like kind of closed up. It was kind of awkward. I'll give it an 8.
An 8? Okay.
Give it an 8.
I'll give it a probably give it like a 7.
Yeah,
7. I
seven and a
mean,
half.
yeah. Like the NFL draft, I feel like it's great to see the fans back and like things a
Mm-hmm.
little normal. But I just feel like the NFL draft is not as exciting as the NBA draft. For me personally,
Mm.
but I give it a 7.
Well, the NFL draft is so long, so like your
Yeah,
attention is
I feel like
only
it just droughts. Like
yeah.
it
Especially this year, they did all 7 rounds, so it was literally going for days.
yeah. So like kudos to the people that like watch after the first round, like watches the second round. Like I don't watch it, but I do keep up with it. I see
Yeah.
who gets picked where.
Hmm. Excited for
It's
the new
done.
NFL season.
Definitely excited, especially with that bad man, like Stephen A. likes to say, with Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers,
Oh
yeah,
man,
man,
Aaron
he wants
Rodgers
out.
fed up with the Packers for an amount and a list of things as to why he's fed up with the Packers. And honestly, I agree with him. I think he deserves way more than what upper management has given him. Even though he has somewhat of talent on the offensive side of the ball.
And he got
It's
more than someone. Let's not disrespect. Like he
I mean, no,
does
no.
have Devontae
That's what
Adams and Aaron
that
Jones.
you can't just look for your number one receiver and then not have a second receiver to go and help you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, of course. And they've done things over the years to constantly screw him over. Like out of 10 years, they went defense 9 times. And the one time that they drafted offense, it was a QB. So like they've never went out of their way in the first round to really get him a skill position player, whether running back, tight end, or running back, tight end, wide receiver. They never really try to do that for him. So yeah, he
Yeah.
does have Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones, but he's just kind of fed up with it. He sees the Giants using a number 2 pick on Saquon Barkley, and teams, using their early picks on wide receivers, Devontae Smith, Jamar Chase, and the Packers haven't been one of those teams to adapt to that and start
Mm-hmm.
using their picks on those players. So he wants out.
Yeah, and like what you're saying to add on to that, like there's no communication. When it
Mm.
came to last year's draft, them picking Bryce Love, they didn't let
Jordan Love.
Jordan Love. I'm sorry, Bryce Love. Thinking of another player. So Jordan Love, they didn't let Aaron Rodgers know that they were gonna go with the QB. So
Mm.
that's a red flag. Also, um, he's not a fan and he does not like the general manager Brian uh Gutekunst.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah. So if I'm mispronouncing again, sorry, but Aaron Rodgers, not a fan of him, and he has said himself that he won't return to the team if he's still general manager. So that's something that's very concerning for the Packers
Mm.
because your franchise quarterback who has gotten you to the Super Bowl and has won you a Super Bowl is saying this, and he's not happy at all. So
And
they
constantly
gotta,
against the conference championships.
yeah, exactly. Like last year, like they were playing the Bucks and they were close,
Hmm.
but he gets you there. He gives them a shot. So I feel like they have to at least
But
accommodate to what he's asking for.
so, like you said, they played the Bucks, but that one difference between the Packers and the Bucks is that, like, we were kind of talking about it earlier, where Kyle Trask got drafted by the Bucks,
Yeah,
and Tom Brady was completely aware of that move. Bruce Arians had that conversation with him, and he knew that the Bucks were going to make that selection before they did. Whereas you compare that situation with another organization like the Packers, and Aaron Rodgers found out that Jordan Love was being drafted just like you and I did. That's not the way you treat your franchise QB. And first of all, like, what are you doing drafting the QB anyway when Aaron Rodgers is still putting up career numbers and taking
no,
you to the NFC Championship?
and it's fine that you take a QB, but like in the
Is
first
it really
round, really,
though?
in the first round though, like you could have gotten a QB later in the rounds. You know what I mean? And
If you're gonna
develop
do that,
him.
you better let your guy know though.
Oh no, yeah, of course. But I'm saying like I'm all for like the teams like the Bucks, uh, the Saints, the
Mm-hmm.
Packers. You know that they have Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, they have Tom Brady as their franchise quarterbacks. It's fine that you get a quarterback in the draft because you got to
Mm-hmm.
think long term. You know these
Yeah.
guys are not going to play forever, but
Mm-hmm.
one at least let them know what you're going to do. Let
Yeah.
them know that you're going to take a quarterback out of respect for them, and to just let them know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
They're your franchise quarterback. Like they need to know. They got to be in the loop. You
Right.
know,
Because
but
you see teams use their first round draft pick on a QB when they're desperate, when they've had a couple losing seasons and they don't have that guy set in stone. If you have um if you have Tom Brady, you have Aaron Rodgers, you have Russell Wilson, like, you don't need to spend a first round pick on a quarterback. I don't
yeah,
understand.
it's
You just
just
don't understand the move as a player, as a fan, anyone watching football. You do not understand the move, and
yeah.
only the Packers front office can.
And it makes them look bad. It makes them a franchise that's not likable, and it hurts them when it comes to free agency.
Mm-hmm.
It hurts them for the team that's already there, for the players that are already there. Like it should be alerting that you my team, like if I'm Devontae Adams and my quarterback is saying, "Yo, I don't want to return," I'm like, "Yo, like why?"
Yeah.
And he tells me why, what's going on, and
Mm.
I'm like, "Damn, like he has a point. Like maybe I want to get out of here too." You know?
I mean, you
So
you can kind of almost relate that to the situation in Houston, where, like, we saw DeAndre Hopkins get out of there, JJ followed, and then Deshaun Watson kind of tried to request a trade. That's a whole
yeah,
nother situation that he's dealing with right now. But
yeah.
like, you see that with organizations that are being run poorly, players notice it, and now they have that voice and can say, "I want to get out of here."
They have that old mentality, like we're in a new era where like
Mm-hmm.
players are more in hand with their contracts,
Mm-hmm.
with wanting to know what's going on
Yeah.
with the team, who are they picking up, like they got to get with the program because if they don't, they're not gonna see a Super Bowl anytime soon, especially when Aaron Rodgers wants out and he's considering retiring if things don't repair. And he did list three teams that he would want to get traded to. It was between the Raiders, the Broncos, and the Niners. I don't see him going to the Niners just because they already have Jimmy G and they
Yeah,
moved
and
up to get
Trey
Trey
Lance.
Lance.
Yeah.
I thought going into the draft when the news broke that the Niners were gonna give up the third pick to Green Bay, and
Mm-hmm.
they in fact did get in contact with Green Bay in terms of getting a trade going to get
Mm-hmm.
Rodgers. But Green Bay said that they're not dealing Rodgers at all. Like
Yeah.
that's out the door. Yeah. So yeah, so I feel like it's between the Raiders and Broncos. I don't know if that's gonna really happen. But
Yeah, I don't think it'll
we'll see.
happen either. But if either of those teams are going to make a move, I think John Gruden is the man to do it. Say, hey, fuck it, Aaron Rodgers wants to come here, like
Yeah.
let's go get him.
I mean, but damn, you still got this what's his
Come
name?
on,
Quarterback
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr. Like he's pretty good. He
Derek
had a
Carr,
oh
Aaron
no, yeah,
Rodgers.
of course. But I feel like that would be messed up, you know, like Derek Carr, he's a solid quarterback,
Nah, man.
but he's not no Aaron Rodgers though. I feel like if any team should trade for him, I feel like it's the Broncos. Like that would be a perfect situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like the Broncos, they do have the running game. They do have a good O-line. They got some solid weapons, and their defense is pretty good. And Aaron Rodgers is accustomed to playing in cold weather. He is playing in Green Bay, so that wouldn't like change anything for him.
Now it's interesting. Like, do you think that Green Bay would want like a QB back? Like, say I want to
No.
because it just got me thinking. Like, because if San Fran was offering that number 3 pick, like
Oh, I would have
say
taken
Green
it.
Bay, yeah, if Green Bay were to
I would
take it,
take it.
like, but
Yeah.
then, like, it makes you think because if they were gonna take another quarterback for Aaron Rodgers, they already drafted Jordan Love, so like, do they not have confidence in Jordan Love? That
That
would
is
have been
true.
a whole mess. So I think that's why they also wanted to avoid that and said, let's not trade Rodgers. Like he's
And
staying
then on
pat.
top of that, it makes the whole team unhappy. Like
Yeah, exactly.
Devontae
Because it's like,
Adams,
what are we doing here?
Devontae Adams is your primary receiver,
Mm-hmm.
and like you know the connection that him and Rodgers have,
Mm-hmm.
like it's just gonna be a whole like disaster.
Yeah.
So, um, one thing I do see, and I won't be surprised by it, is if he retires. Like honestly, he's up in age. He does have a Super Bowl. He has a Hall of Fame career to get into Canton. But I won't be surprised at that. And especially like he has that whole Jeopardy gig,
Yeah.
hosting Jeopardy, and it's something
Yeah.
that he really likes and he loves. So I feel like if things aren't prepared to what he wants it to be in Green Bay, I see him retiring and not like missing the game. You know.
Man, I hope he doesn't retire.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't
Like
retire. I love Aaron Rodgers. I feel like
yeah,
besides Brady, like he's the best talented quarterback. Besides Brady and now Mahomes, he before Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers was like the greatest the most talented quarterback I've ever seen.
yeah, and I always said that. I always thought that Aaron Rodgers was more skilled than Tom Brady.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
what I meant by that is just that Aaron Rodgers can do so many things that Tom Brady can't. Not to say
yeah.
not that, and that's not a knock on Tom Brady because we all know he's the GOAT. 7 Super Bowls. We don't have to say anything more.
It's just skill
But
wise,
it's just
athleticism.
skill
The
wise, athleticism, different arm slots, like
yeah,
the angles he throws the ball, how hard he throws the ball. Is just he's the complete QB really. So
yeah.
I don't want to see him retire.
I hope not, but I wouldn't rule it out to be honest with you.
Let's wrap up the NFL and move on into the NBA.
Yes, sir.
Let's start it off with
It's your boy in Boston.
hometown boy Jayson
It's your
Tatum.
boy, it's your boy in Boston.
Hometown boy.
Looking like Kobe out here.
Yo, training with Kobe got him dropping 60 points against the Spurs, coming back from 32. You love to see that, man. Yeah, it almost took him 40 shots, but he was still efficient. 20 of 37. Yeah, man. Let's dive into it.
It's funny about that because I didn't watch the game, but I was on Twitter and my feed, my Twitter feed, and I seen I don't know if it was Bleacher Report or Legion of Hoops, but they posted a video of like Boston fans booing because the Spurs were smacking them in the first quarter. It was like 32 to like 12 or 32 to 14.
Yeah.
And they were just fans are coming back to the games and they were just booing the Celtics. And
Mm.
Boston fans, when it comes to any sport, they're
Any
hardcore
sport.
fans, and
Yep.
if you suck, they're gonna let you know that you fucking
Yep.
suck.
Right
So
away.
yeah, right away. And it's just funny to me that like an hour later, Jayson Tatum
Like
is dropping 60 points, bro,
it's like, oh my God,
and a
Jason
comeback
Tatum is
win.
God. Yeah,
Yeah,
down
and a
30.
comeback win, down
Down
30,
30.
bro.
So yeah, I think that's huge for him. Because Jason Tatum, we all know for him to be all-star, like great young player. But I still think that his potential, like he has more room to grow. There's another level that he hasn't reached yet in his game.
Yeah,
And stuff like this is a huge confidence boost. And I think this needs to carry into the end of the season.
into the
Hopefully
playoffs.
spell on over into the playoffs, because if he can play like this and win a series or two, get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and kind of like cement himself as truly one of the best scorers, one of the best players in the NBA, then that'll be a huge help to the Celtics team moving forward, because they really need him to take that next jump, because we haven't really seen this team do the things that we thought it would do.
Hmm.
I know I expected more from the Celtics team to start the season, so
And
I don't know about you.
no, you're hitting it right there. Like I my problem, I always loved Tatum, and my only thing with him, my only issue with Tatum was his consistency. Like he has to be consistent, and it just comes with age and with growth in your
Mm-hmm.
game to be more consistent on the court. Like I hope he keeps this going forward and going into the playoffs, but it's just his consistency. And even with the whole team, the Celtics, like they hit strides where like they're looking like one of the top contenders in the Eastern Conference,
Yeah.
and then out of nowhere they hit slumps where like they're not even in the conversation as contenders at all.
Mm.
Like the start of the season, they were in the bottom of the East and they had to work their way up. They had to work their way up to where they're at right now.
Mm.
And like last night, they started off down 20 plus points to the Spurs, who are clearly not the better team. And it took a 60-point effort from Tatum for them to come back and win the game. So kudos to Tatum. I love to see players like him, young stars, dropping 60 points. Because me, as a Kobe fan, I
Mm.
was accustomed to that. Like Kobe
Yeah.
just going balls to the
40,
walls,
50. Yeah.
bro. Like sick, bro. Like just scoring at a crazy
Yeah,
rate.
man.
We don't get to see that a lot anymore in the
Mm.
NBA. But I just love that that we got to see that. We got to witness that. Um, and I just, even though it's the Celtics, I
Yeah.
I appreciate I appreciate Tatum and his effort. Like I really do, and like I hope he keeps this going into the playoffs.
Yeah, I'd love to see him keep this going. The team is really 3 games out of the 4 seed. So for them to kind of sneak up into that 4 spot and host a
Yeah,
playoff series like that, that'll be huge,
that would be
especially the
huge,
start
bro.
that this
That would be
had
huge.
after
And
after the start this team had.
I'm telling you, bro. Like they were like I checked those standings like
Yeah.
a month or two ago, and they were like in the eighth spot, bro. They were like almost in the play-in position, and now
Struggling to
they're
get to 500, and like after
yeah,
getting there, slipping a little bit. Yeah,
they're
it's been
they're
tough for
they're
them all
get
season.
they're getting things together, man.
Mm.
And talking about playoffs and the seeding and stuff, as we were talking about last episode, Dallas got a huge win last night.
Mm.
Um, and they've taken over the fifth seed. They jumped ahead of the Lakers. Um, a huge game for Luka Doncic. He dropped a
Mm.
career high 20 assists, and I think he also dropped a triple double. He's also the
Mm.
fastest player to reach 35 triple doubles, and he's the youngest and the fastest to do that. So
Yeah, he's
I've always
special.
been yeah,
He's
bro.
special.
I've been a Luka fan. I love
Mm.
Luka Doncic. I love his game. he plays so smooth and effortless, and he's such a great passer. But yeah, man, Dallas is looking good. They do jump ahead of the Lakers, which is concerning for the Lakers because now they're in the sixth seed.
I
And
mean, you guys are technically tied, but they do own the tiebreaker, so um, you're really only half a game from the fifth seed.
yeah,
So honestly, if I'm a Lakers fan, I'm not too concerned, just because of the rest that AD and LeBron had. Yeah, they were out with injuries, but after last year and the bubble and this year starting up so quick, you kind of know that both of them would need rest eventually, that they would be
yeah,
taking a couple games off. So I do think that they did nurse these injuries a little longer and did milk them a little longer than they needed to, just to kind of make sure that they were well rested heading into the playoffs.
that's
So
true.
these next few games for the Lakers, I just kind of expect them to shake the rust off, get their chemistry back, win a couple games. But as far as seeding, we know that LeBron has never really made seeding a priority. He's never really kind of needed the one seed to
Yeah.
make the finals or to make a deep playoff run. So, yeah, man, I don't know. I'm not too worried about the seeding because regardless of who they play in the first round, this is LeBron James and the Lakers we're talking about.
We all know that LeBron returned against the Kings the other night, and they lost a game. It was a close game. The Lakers were up 10 heading into the fourth quarter,
Mm.
and they blew the lead, which is that's also concerning and frustrating as a Laker fan to see that, especially when the season is coming down to the wire. We can't be losing games like that. We're up double digits against a team that's far below our level of play. But at the press conference post game, he one of the reporters had asked him about his ankle, and he said that he will never be 100% again. Like it's impossible for him
Mm-hmm.
to ever be 100% in his career again.
Mm-hmm.
That to me, at first when I heard it, I was like confused. I'm like, am I reading this right? So
Mm-hmm.
I read the article and I was like, okay, so he is 36 years old. He like I'm kind of scared. Like, is he
Mm-hmm.
saying that like he can't really play to where we usually see LeBron playing?
Mm-hmm.
Or but then I also gave it a few days. I'm like, maybe he's bluffing. Maybe he's just capping. Like
I mean, we've seen him do that before.
he's just trying to like let teams know like oh yeah, like I'm hurt, like you know. But then the playoffs
Mm-hmm.
come and he just started going LeBron,
Yeah,
like
man.
going
So I
ham.
think I think people are reading too much into this. Like, I feel like it's not as deep as everyone is making it out to be.
Yeah,
Um, him saying that he's not going to be 100%, it's just basically like, I don't know, any injury that you get, like it's going to limit you a little bit. Like you're once you hurt an ankle or something, like the next time you play, you're kind of thinking about it. You don't want to make that same move. You don't want to put too much pressure on that ankle. So it'll hold you back just a little bit. Maybe that's what he's kind of getting at. But I don't think that he's trying to say that this is going to affect his game in any sort of way. Just
yeah,
more like his body, which we've seen LeBron have like a wrist injury or like a back injury or something and come back and we never hear about it ever again. So him saying this, I wouldn't be too worried about it either. Like I said again, he's LeBron James and this is the Lakers we're talking about.
yeah. And like I said, like at first I was kind of concerned, but then after I gave it a couple days, I'm like LeBron spends millions of dollars on his body
Yeah.
and his health.
Mm-hmm.
I'm I'm not concerned. Like I feel like he's gonna be fine. Come playoff time, he's gonna do good. He's gonna be okay.
Yeah, I mean, this has just been a thing throughout his career. We always hear of like little things, and he's just the guy that LeBron doesn't get hurt. So whenever he does get hurt and he does tweak an ankle or any little thing, it's like, oh my God, LeBron's hurt. Is it serious? Like everyone's always waiting for like that one big injury. And this being the longest injury to keep him out and his in the history of his career,
Yeah.
I don't think it's a coincidence that it's also in a shortened season next to kind of a condensed season in a bubble where, he didn't get enough rest in between seasons. So um, they'll
I
be fine. AD kind of needed the
yeah.
same kind of rest.
It's
His
just
injury
gonna
was a little more serious, but
it's gonna be interesting now that the season is almost over and
mhm,
you got all these teams flip flopping seeds.
yeah.
So we're just gonna be on high alert and see where the final standings, where the teams land in the final
Mhm.
standings when it
I do
comes to
think
seeding.
seedings are important to some teams more than others. Whereas
Yeah,
like the Jazz, if they get that number one seed, like that's important to them. It'll help them win a few games.
yeah.
Because they need those home games.
Oh
But
yeah, and Jazz fans are vicious, bro. Like
yeah.
there's
So
been
like,
countless times where players have said the wildest
oh
things
yeah,
about what fans have said to them, and
yeah, with Russell
so the
Westbrook and shit, like we
yeah, so
didn't
the
get into the
Jazz the
fans.
Jazz are a team that they do need the number one seed, like that's
Yeah,
for
but
sure.
teams like the Clippers or the Lakers or the Nuggets, like I think that they're fine
Even the
regardless of where
even
they're
the
playing.
even the Trailblazers too. Like
Mm.
it doesn't matter where
Yeah,
they
the
lie.
Blazers is one of those teams that can be road dogs, but for like these teams who we aren't used to seeing, for example, like the Suns, I think that home court advantage in some of the series that they play is gonna be super important.
Yeah,
Um, But yeah, like I said, the big top dogs, Nuggets, Clippers, Lakers, I feel like they don't really care about seeding as much as the other teams.
that's true.
We should start getting into hockey soon, man. If you're listening to this right now, and I know a lot of our listeners right now don't like hockey, but I like making my hockey bets. So maybe
I try to. I'm gonna try
eventually,
and get into
maybe,
hockey. I'm gonna
yeah.
try. I'm gonna give it a little dabble to see
I mean,
how it is.
we also will eventually start posting our betting stuff and our picks.
Yeah,
So I'll eventually start bringing up hockey. So don't worry about it.
that will come soon.
Yeah.
But you wanna take it away, man?
Yeah, man. Well, this was episode number 2. This should be releasing on Wednesday, Cinco de Mayo. So if you're listening, thank you for listening so much. Thank you for all the likes, all the comments, all the love that we've been getting from the people
We
listening.
appreciate it. We
We
appreciate it
appreciate it.
very
We
much.
appreciate it.
Follow
So
us on Instagram. Our Instagram is Rivalry Sports Co. That's Rivalry Sports Co. Our YouTube is the Underdogs Podcast. The link is gonna be on our Instagram too. So the latest episodes, we're always gonna put up the link so you don't have to have trouble searching us up.
yeah.
Because I feel like um it's a little hard to find us on YouTube since we're
Mm.
new. So we're gonna
Yeah,
leave the link. Yeah, we're
follow
gonna
us on
leave the link
Twitter
on the
as
bio.
well. Follow us on all of social media. The Twitter is the Underdog Show. That's no W at the end. That was taken. So the Underdog Show on Twitter, Rivalry Sports Co. on Instagram, the Underdogs on YouTube. You can find that on the link in our bio of our
Spotify,
Instagram. Listen
Spotify,
to us
Google
on, yeah.
Podcasts.
Yeah, so right now we're on Spotify, Google Podcasts. We're working on posting to Apple Podcasts, so we'll keep you guys updated on our social media accounts when we're posting for that. But yeah, again, thank you guys so much for listening. My name is Elvis.
This is Zeus.
We're the Other Dogs. Thank you. Peace out.
See you guys. Take care.